What's up, guys? Welcome back to another fun, exciting episode of FIY Garage. Today we are working on the Jeep. Well, it's been a little while since I put the lift on it, and I actually want to start using it and doing other projects on it and whatnot. So first step was to get it aligned, because after you do anything major to the suspension on a vehicle, you're supposed to get it aligned. So I found an alignment shop in town that I could take it to. So this morning I hopped in before there was a whole lot of traffic on the road, because I planned on going slow, and I was cruising down the road at about 30 and hit a pothole, and the entire Jeep started shaking like it was in a freaking earthquake. So that's called death wobble, and that's what you want to avoid. Steering wheel was trying to rip out of my hands. It was it's interesting when it happens. So it was like right down the street from the alignment shop, so I took it over there, and they looked and they're like, hey, your ball joints are completely destroyed. So I figured that much, but I was hoping that it wouldn't be that bad, but it apparently is. So today we are going to do ball joints on this thing. And out of all the projects, I'm not a huge fan of doing suspension stuff. It's quite time consuming and hard, dirty work. It kind of sucks, but I'd much rather work on an engine, but this is what we're doing today. So ball joints basically support this assembly right here, this whole knuckle. There's a ball joint here and a ball joint underneath, and it lets it turn, and as the suspension cycles, the ball joints let it basically flex back and forth. Well, these ones are done, so ball joint kind of works like this. There's a ball inside a socket, and over time they get play, so it's doing this. So these need to be replaced. So first order of business is to get the brake caliper off so we can access everything. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this off. Now, you usually want to hang the brake caliper, because you don't want to use the hose to restrain it, because otherwise it can rip the hose. I got to change the hose on this anyway at some point with some extended ones. That and the rubber's kind of destroyed. So yeah, let me get the gloves on, and we'll go ahead and start. So this is, I think, a 12. My pile of tools here, and then there's some special tools I'll show you, like this is a ball joint press, and I'll show you guys how to use it. This whole process is pretty hard, dirty, and labor intensive, so a lot of people just pay shops to do it, but I don't like doing that. So let me get the camera out of the way. So we go ahead and take this caliper off. Well, we're going to do brakes on this at some point too, so I'll document that. We're also going to do the axle boots on this while I have it apart, because the boots that are supposed to keep the grease in are torn, and it allows it to fling out. So while we're here, we're going to do it. So take the caliper bolts out. These ones are quite dirty. Put these aside. And I have a piece of wire that I'm going to use to hold the brake caliper. So I just kind of make a little loop and stick it, just hang it right there. Just pick a hole and hang it from, so it doesn't have strain on the hose. So run it through here. Stick it in here. There we go. That might stay. So anyway, now that it's out of the way, now we'll get the rotor off. This one is rusted on. They rust right around here in the center, but problem is you don't want to spray lubricant on it, because if it gets on the rotor, you're screwed. Let me get a hammer. Oh, come on. Well, this one's rusted on, so I'm gonna go ahead and get it off, and I'll come back to you. All right, a couple good taps with the hammer, got it right off. So this is your hub bearing right here, this whole assembly. So what I need to do is get this guy off too, but in order to do that I have to take this big nut off, and it's on there very tight, much greater than a normal torque wrench, so we're gonna have to use our impact wrench to get it off. Now these are cotter pins. They keep the nut from unscrewing accidentally, so there's a hole in the center of the bolt that these go through, and so you gotta essentially, sometimes they're a pain in the butt. I mean, for something that hasn't been off in years, everything just needs a little persuasion, but there's a little wavy washer right here. So you can see how rusted this stuff is. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it in a little parts bin, and handy dandy PB blaster. Love this stuff, it works great on freeing rusted parts. So gonna try to spray everything that we're gonna be taking loose. Wonder if I'll run into any black widows back here. There's a big egg sack right there, so I might. So I don't care about using too much of this stuff. It doesn't hurt anything. So what I'm gonna do next is take the ABS sensor off. So if I recall, it's a little 8mm. Take this, the ABS sensor actually rides behind this plate. It's for the anti-lock brakes, so I'm gonna go ahead and shoot. And there we go. I left the steering wheel unlocked so I can turn it back and forth as needed. Alright, got the bolt out. Now let's get the sensor out. Get him out of the way. There we go. Yeah, there's a ring in here that has a bunch of little teeth on it, and they ride past this sensor, and the sensor generates voltage, and or I'm sorry, pretty sure it generates current, but generates a signal, we'll say, and that sends it to the anti-lock brake computer and lets it know if it's rotating or not. So this nut needs to come off. So what I'm going to do, get this, which fits perfectly, and the big impact. That should make quick work of this, actually. Yep, just like that. This thing has a ton of torque, so it can do this kind of thing. Now what I'm going to do is get these 3 bolts out that I sprayed. They should be a 13, but it's a 12 point, and they're going to be on there quite tight. If I recall, it's a 13, but it's a 12 point. So they're on there at 75 foot-pounds. The big 13 on the 1/2 inch. If I can get it in there. Some of the places where you have to access on this aren't very good.
eyes just don't feel the same. Oh, back my life inside a car. Hit the button, drive real far. Put that record on, we die.
2.
Reach for the stars, 'cause we're aiming high.
That one actually got quite hot. You can smell it. So, now we gotta get this hub off. So, to beat on it a little bit to knock it loose. Oh yeah. That sucks. We'll get it apart and look at it. I'll be right back with you. I'm just gonna pound this thing around in a circle and it should come off. Alright, so the hub bearing's off, but it's bad. I'm gonna have to go get a new one before we put it back together because you can see I'm not supposed to do that. So, put that aside. Well, we got that off, so we can go ahead and get the axle out gently. Get the gloves off so I don't get too much grease all over them. So as you can see, the boot's completely destroyed. This looks like a newer axle, but go ahead and put it aside. Got this thing up. We'll deal with this in a few minutes. Okay. Now the fun part. Now there's one of those cotter pins down here. There's one up here. Get it nice and soaked. So, alright, what I am going to do is take this tie rod connection off. This is what this is the rod that steers it. This thing pushes or pulls the whole knuckle, so we got to get it off or else I can't take the ball joints off. When these cotter pins get old, they can get brittle, so it's kind of a pain in the butt. So what I'll do sometimes is grip it with the pliers and hit the pliers with a hammer. Pull it out like that. Spray this a little bit. And see I'm leaving the nut on there. So if I decide to hit it with the hammer, which I'm going to, it's not going to destroy the threads on the bolt portion. There we go. All right, now I think that's totally destroyed. So, now the fun part. There is so much crap on this thing. Just filth in general. Doesn't look like they ever cleaned it. Problem is, a lot of this crap will end up getting back in the axle and stuff if you don't get it out of here. What I need to do is just pressure wash all this. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that. There's just way too much crap here. So that'll be a project for another day, but be right back. I'm gonna go dump this. Okay. Now we'll take the cotter pin for the bottom ball joint off. There we go. Let's see if we can take the nut off. All right. Now the top one. This is what happens when you have a vehicle that was pretty much never maintained. And this thing should have had ball joints a couple times over, but previous owner didn't think that kind of thing was necessary. So that wiggled a little bit. Fun and games are over. Get out of there. Alright, I'm back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean all the crap from around that and that, because those have to come out. So believe it or not, these will come out, even though it looks like that the ball joints have become a part of the arm, even though they haven't. So now the trick is trying to push this thing down. And what you can do is you can use a big pickle fork. That's normally what I use. So you get something like this. It's more or less a wedge. And you put it in here and you just pound on it. And it will separate it. I'm gonna get my glasses. Little metal chunk will do wonders on your eye. There went the bottom. You saw that move. Sweet. Let's give the top a little more love. That's awesome. So I never seen that happen. That kind of changes the game. So that is insane. I have never seen that happen. Okay. I'm gonna have to get creative. I'm gonna try to figure out how to get this off and I'll show you how. Alright, what I ended up doing was, it was like this, stuck in there, so I ended up putting a socket over it. Not this one, but this one, which had a little bit of space left, setting it on the ground like this and beating it, and it came out. So we're back in business. Get this out of the way. So now the fun part. Like I said, this thing literally looks like it became one with the knuckle. So I have to get it out. So that's where the ball joint press comes in. Looks like a big C-clamp. I'm gonna get it a little bit more wet. Now what we'll do is we'll use, there's all these different kinds of configurations on this thing to get it out. So it has to come down. So what I can do is I can get different devices that'll push down on the top and not affect the bottom. So there's different configurations for this thing. So what we'll do for this, bear with me, I need to push down on the top, but I can't. Yeah, I can, because that one's there. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna put this one, which the shaft can go through, on the bottom. Then I'm gonna put this sleeve, which, now I need the next diameter up, which the ball joint can go through like that. So what I'll do is I'll do this, center it there, and crank on it like this. See what happens. I think the top one's gonna be, I don't think it'll work like that. You can try it. No. Maybe. Let me give it a little bit of a love tap with the hammer. Now, we'll do the top one first. Now that that's pushed on there. So, this one has to get pushed up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the bottom of it. So I'm gonna do like that and just push it straight up. So get that tube. Get this one. That fits into the tube. And just let it run right on there. I'm gonna have to tighten down on this quite a bit And when these things let loose, it's pretty gnarly, so I actually got to center it better. That's better. And then just crank on it. Like that. All right, so it's taking up as much as the end of the clamp can right now, so I have to reconfigure it. But see, came right out. That's how you do it. Similar thing with the bottom. So on the bottom, now that we have this open, I actually have better access to what I need to do. So I'm going to use the top to push the bottom down into the cup. So I'm going to put this one on there and this and do this. Line it up like that. It's kind of a pain. This one's probably going to take a little bit more oomph to get out, just because it's the lower one and they're usually more of a pain in the butt. So we'll see. Not gonna hurt my back. Now you see, right tool for the right job. If you're trying to use a hammer or something, you'd be here for frickin' ever. And there's what you ordered. One removed lower ball joint. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean these two areas up and then we'll be back for reinstallation. All right, here's the new lower ball joint. This thing's kind of nifty because it has the grease fitting right here and then it's got this little mark on here, but that tells you where the hole for the cotter pin is, so when you're spinning the nut on, you can look and see that it's right there. So to put this one on, take my gloves off for a minute. Yeah, I need to start using a new pair, but these ones are already grease soaked, so I really don't want to ruin another good pair. So just put some bearing grease on here. Bummed I have to buy a new hub, but it's better that it find it now that I'm down here ready to work on it than when I have the camera out and we're messing around out in the off-roading areas. So go ahead and get that kind of centered. So that one's right there. So what I'm going to do is get the clamp again. Set this on here. So I'm going to push up from the bottom. So I'm going to put a sleeve in the top and turn it, and it's going to end up pushing the whole thing up. So we'll do this. Ah, crap. Got a little dirt in it. That's okay. Okay. up, and then take a sleeve, put it around it, and then put this one here. Now you gotta make sure it's going in straight, which it looks like, and install. Wait, no, it's crooked a little bit. Okay. All right, that one's in. Okay. Now it has the Zerk fitting and other stuff in the bag, and the nut and the pin. I'm not going to do that right now. You know, no, actually I'm going to put the Zerk or the grease fitting in so that it doesn't get crap in there. From my look, it will. So, this is what this grease fitting looks like. It's a different design. It doesn't have the little grease hose, can't lock onto it, but it should still work. So, get all the garbage out of the way. Okay, that one's in. Now, get the second one. Now this one has to go down from the top. So what I'm going to do is grease it up just like the other one. Okay, so this one has to go down. So, give it a little whack to center it. And get grease on my hammer. So, this one, put the gloves on for this one. I just have to more or less push down from the top. So, like that, but I don't want to use that one. Use this one so it doesn't damage it. Maybe. Nope. Guess I'm using that. Okay. So, put the one on the bottom to receive it. This guy. Alright, just had to realign everything and crank on it, and it's in. Alright, no more ball joint press. Done with that. Alright, well, they're in. So, I'm going to go ahead and put the little Zerk fitting in. Okay, Zerk fitting's in. Now I just have to reinstall the knuckle. So, just like this. Just like that. So, get the hardware. New nut for the bottom. We'll deal with the axle in a few minutes. new nut for the top. And once I tighten it, it should be good. So I won't bore you with that. I'm going to tighten these up and then I'll come right back. Okay, so got that on. Okay, I'm going to have to go get a new hub assembly, but for the meantime, I can tighten this up and put the pin in. Now you got to make sure you put these pins in or else bad things can happen. You don't want stuff unscrewing while you're driving, especially suspension stuff. This isn't something that if it comes apart you can just pull over to the side of the road and address it. At that point, you know, you end up losing a wheel or something. Not that bad, but I mean, you get the picture. So put these on. I'm really glad that I found that bad hub bearing, because it would have sucked to do it later. I mean, I'm sure the wheel's gonna come off at some point on this thing again, but it's just kind of a pain in the butt to have to do it. So anyway, I got this on. I'm gonna clean up a little bit of the stuff and then I'll be back. All right, now we're gonna see if we can fix this axle, because the boot obviously is torn and all the grease is out. Well, I have a new boot, but the clamp that it came with is kind of crappy, so I'm gonna see if I can, man, it's getting breezy, see if I can salvage this one. So the trick is this little clamp right here is pinched on. Basically what they do is they tighten it up to the tightest they can and then they squeeze this little guy. So if I can free up that little guy a little bit, we might be able to salvage this clamp, because it's much better than the ones it came with. Let me go get a different screwdriver. Like I said, I bought a new CV boot, but the clamps it comes with are like this, and so you need a special kind of tool to do it, and I don't have one. I do have this tool though. This one is designed to pinch the little square right here, so if I can widen this up enough, and now if I it's formed right, all I have to do is just kind of lift this. Okay, cool. I actually might be able to reuse it, so what I'm going to do is take this off, put it aside. Yeah, that's what it is. They bite down into it, so to put that to the side and try not to let this thing hit the ground. Try to do the same thing on this one and then see if I can do the same thing here. Haven't worked with these kind of clamps too much. They used to just use hose clamps. That was simple enough, but this actually might end up working out for me. So, alright, so the boot's loose. So what I'm going to do is stand it on end. Well, first I'm going to see if I can get this piece off. Yeah, it's just going to slide over, so I'm going to stand the axle on end and slide this guy up. Got him off. Oh, there's dirt all over inside this thing. Well, the boot was only like 12 bucks, so we'll try to grease it first. See how long it survives. Then if I need to, I'll buy another one. So, go ahead and... oh, there's so much dirt in this grease. Try to get as much of it out of here as I can. And the other problem is that when I set this thing down, it's going to sit in grease. So what I'm trying to do is clean the axle as much as I can, because when I put the new boot on, it's going to push all the nasty grease down back to here. So trying to get it clean best I can. I mean, it doesn't need perfection, but it's about as good as it's gonna get. So set the axle there. And what'll happen is if you get too much dirt in here, it's just gonna hang out in here and destroy it. quick order. I mean, they're not terribly expensive, but it's one of those things that you don't want to change unless you have to. And when they start looking like that, that's when you have to. So, take the new boot. Okay, so this one's clean. Take the new boot. This wind's coming up. Put the wrench on it. New boot. Slide it down. Get it close. Now, it's pretty close to what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill it with grease now. So, all this dirt. So I'll get my CV boot grease and cut it open. Okay, so slide it on, and then I'm going to get this boot clamp. I'll wipe it off first. Let's see what we can get. Pick this guy up. Let's get it in one of these little lines on here. Roll it around. That would be great if this works. So what I'm told to do is get it as tight as you can. Maybe there. And then when it's as tight as you can, take this thing, which squeezes this square, so, yeah. All right, well, camera battery died when I was doing the axle, but I was able to get the boot back on. So I also went and got a new hub bearing. I'm gonna get that and we're gonna put it on. All right, now before I do anything, I'm going to paint some anti-seize on these splines so that when the new hub bearing goes on, it doesn't seize. Hence the name. All right. Now I'm kind of brain farting because the other one had a imprint of where the dust shield goes. So remember right, it goes like that. Or no, backwards. Sorry. That should be it. Yep. You can see the outline of it. So leave that there. Let me go ahead and tighten this up. All right, guys. Well, as you can probably see, the tire is on. This is about 2 weeks later, and unfortunately, when I crawled under there to tighten the hub bearing, I kicked over the camera and the battery broke off of it. I know it's no excuse, but I ended up fixing the camera, and yeah, so as you can see, it's done. So the upper and lower ball joints are done, and the CV boot is, and it's helped noticeably. So I have a lot more projects to do on this Jeep. Please follow along. Like I said, I'm sorry that I didn't get a chance to film the rest of it. But if you want to see what it looks like when everything's apart, you can check out my video of doing the brakes, because that was the next thing in line after this. So anyway, guys, look forward to hearing from you. Let me know what you think of the progress so far. And yeah, I appreciate you guys following and checking out the channel. So anyway, leave me comments, questions, or anything you'd like to see next. So have a good one, guys. Talk to you later.